So I'm the CEO of InAppFuel. We're the first and only minigame SDK for mobile developers. We allow mobile developers the ability to integrate things like slots and scratch-offs in less than an hour of time. You guys have probably seen minigames in some of the mobile apps you've used, for example, Zynga Poker, Bejeweled Blitz, The Simpsons. In fact, for all of the games that I mentioned, their #1 in-app purchase corresponds to their minigames. And as I said, our goal is to allow developers to integrate minigames in less than an hour. A few big benefits. First of all, an increase in monetization in terms of in-app purchase revenue. Our current partners are seeing an increase of anywhere from 15 to 30% in terms of IP revenue, so substantial boost. And second of all, increase in terms of retention and engagement. Users come back more often in order to engage with the app, use their free daily spin, free daily ticket. I'm going to launch right into the product. The product is built and managed such that it's self-service, so sign up, company name, email, password. I'm going to log into a demo account so that I can show you guys the reporting side of it as well. So here we have a view of the dashboard. On the left, we've got a drop-down where a developer can select any application that the developer has already set up. We've got a Manage tab to allow you to set up the actual product, and a Reporting tab to take a look at the stats. We're going to go ahead and add an app. We can search by either developer name or by app name. So for example, we could search for a game dev shop called Tapinator that we currently work with. And then we could add any one of their games, for example, Breaking Blocks, which is a 3D puzzle game. So we'll go ahead and add Breaking Blocks. Now we're on the virtual currency tab. The mini games connect to the developer's existing virtual currency system. So let's say this game uses coins as the currency, and let's say the exchange rate or conversion rate is $1 is equal to 1,000 coins. This basically allows us to set the payouts for the mini games. So when a user uses their free spin or their free ticket, the user will earn virtual currency within that game, and we can manage the economy such that it's profitable for the developer. We can also set the callback URL and secret key if the developer manages the currency on a separate server. And we support device managed currency as well. Now that we've set up the virtual currency, we go off to the zones. We pre-create 2 zones for the buttons, so the developer can place buttons that link to the minigames anywhere within the developer's product, for example, on the home page, on the store page, etc. We can create any number of zones. For example, let's say we want to show the minigames as an interstitial when the user hits level 2. We can go ahead and add that in as a zone, and let's say we also want to show them on the store page. We could add that in as well. We could change whether something is live versus sandbox. And within a given zone, for example, let's say we want to show the slots twice as often as the scratch-offs. We could set the priorities between minigames. And we could also set a frequency cap. For example, let's say we want to pop the minigames up once every 12 hours. So we could do that here as well. Once we've set up the zones and how and where the minigames appear, we go on to the integrate page. A very simple integration process, takes less than an hour to complete. Download the SDK, set up the virtual currency, which we already did. Set up the callback URL and secret key if you're managing your currency on a separate server. Set up the zones. As I said, we pre-create the button zones, but you could set up any number of zones. You know, if you want to pop the minigame based on a specific event or on a specific page. You set up the IPs, the in-app purchases within your iTunes Connect dashboard. We've got 5 price points per minigame, ranging from 99 cents to $29.99. And again, the whole purpose here is basically generates additional revenue for the developer, as well as additional retention. Once you've added the in-app purchases in, you go to the integration instructions. We don't have the time to go through this line by line, unfortunately, but you can see there's not a lot of text here. The folks who have set it up to date have done all of this in less than an hour of time. And then we have the ability to customize the minigames. Some of the customization occurs within the dashboard, but we can customize the entire minigame, essentially all the way down to the symbols and the reels. So if you want to have bells instead of, if you want to have zombies or cars instead of bells and cherries, you could do that as well. We support both iPhone and iPad portrait as well as landscape. And we've got previews here. Again, depending on what the developer puts into the dashboard where it says win your currency here, that'll populate, for example, say win 1,000,000 coins. We have a similar page for the scratch-off side of the product. Again, everything is fully customizable. If you want the minigames to show up in purple instead of blue, that's easy to accomplish. Again, portrait and landscape, iPhone and iPad. And then we have, finally, we've got a reporting tab. After you set up the minigames, you go off to the reporting. This app was just added, so there are obviously no stats, but once I select all apps, essentially we focus on 2 types of metrics. Sales, one of our goals is obviously to increase developer revenue. And the second stat that we focus on is engagement. So we look at spins assigned and spins used. In other words, when a user sees a minigame, a spin is assigned to that user. What percentage of users actually consume those spins and consume those tickets? Currently, we're seeing about 60% of users who see a spin or a ticket actually engage with it. So if you compare that to an average ad CTR, which is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5%, it's exponentially higher. And then we've got different ways of looking at these stats in terms of going back in time and looking at sales, looking at engagement going back in time, and obviously breaking those stats out by mini game type. And that basically takes us through a quick demo of the panel. And as I said, the goal here is to allow developers the ability to set up mini games in less than an hour of time, increase their in-app purchase revenue without impacting any of their other revenue in terms of advertising and stuff like that, and increase their retention as users come back to the product more often.
Very nice.
That's it.
Very nice. Good stuff, Ilya. Thank you for sharing.
Thanks, Miles. Thanks, guys.
Yeah, you bet. Hands up high. Questions? Anybody?
Sure. Questions, guys? Sorry. If I can see.
Okay, hi, I'm Michelle.
Hey, how are you?
This might be a stupid question, but I don't care. Can you give me a use case example of what type of app or developer would use this?
Sure. So it's really any developer that uses virtual currency within their products. Examples of different types of apps that we're currently either integrated with or in the process of integrating with are games like Bejeweled, Match 3 games that use virtual currency, poker games, blackjack games, backgammon games, just casual games that have a virtual currency. So it's anything where you can basically award a user with something within the product, and the user can then use that virtual currency in order to purchase premium products. And 3 of the top grossing games that currently use mini games are Bejeweled, Zynga Poker, and The Simpsons, which are obviously 3 very different types of games. So it's really applicable to a broad set of apps and games.
So this is integrated inside of Zynga.
So Zynga uses its own mini games.
Okay. We're
going to announce a fairly large casino app in the next week that's currently in review with Apple.
Okay.
That's similar to Zynga Poker, but as I said, it's applicable to a wide range of types of apps, including both casino type apps as well as casual game apps.
Can you give us an idea of actual numbers with what kind of revenue a popular game can generate?
Yes, I mean with our product, we're seeing anywhere from a 15 to 30% increase in in-app purchase revenue. So obviously apps have very different different numbers in terms of the in-app purchase revenue that they're able to drive. But depending on what your app is currently generating, you should expect to see anywhere from a 15 to 30% increase in IP revenue, which again is very substantial. There are a number of apps out there, obviously, that are generating the majority of their revenue through IEP versus ads.
Hands up high for Ilya. He came all the way from New York City. Greg, can you put the tweet wall on for a second? Going once, going twice. Ilya, come on. You can tell us a life story. No, we've got 2 minutes.
Life story?
You came all the way from New York City.
You already told him my life story.
No, I did. True. Yeah, so you didn't come to San Francisco just for us, right? Or maybe you did.
No, well, I mean, I've had VC meetings obviously out here, but obviously love to present here as well. But I think looking for developer partners, anybody who's interested in the product, who currently runs an app or game that uses virtual currency, would love to chat, learn more about your product, learn more about ways to work together, and that's basically it.
Right on. Oh, Danny's got a question.
So my name is Danny. When the developer integrates it and there is an in-app purchase in your mini game, is that credit going to the developers or that app's Apple account, or is the payment? Are you having to make the payment to the developer on the back end on a regular basis?
Yes, yeah, good question. So the way that it works is the developer creates additional in-app purchases within the developer's own iTunes Connect dashboard. And so to answer your question, the developer controls those in-app purchases. The revenue goes directly to the developer. We look at the receipts that are transacted in relation to the mini games because we control the actual mini game. And so the revenue within the dashboard will reconcile to what the developer is seeing in iTunes Connect. And our revenue model is to take a rev share off of specifically the in-app purchase revenue that's generated through those mini games. And so the revenue goes to the developer keeps the bulk of that, and then a percentage of that will go to us from the developer.
Anybody else? All right.
Awesome.
Does it.
Thank you, Miles. Thank you, guys. Appreciate it.
Nice work. Good job. Thank you, Ilya. InAppFuel.